What's up guys, my name's justinrgraziano and I'm a product photographer. If you guys are new to this channel, I do a lot of tutorials and behind the scene breakdowns. I thought we'd get into the holiday spirit and shoot something holiday themed. So for those of you that don't know, prior to me becoming a product photographer, I was actually a graphic designer for the past 8 years. And about 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to design these cans. I had an absolute blast designing these cans, and since these beers are re-releasing this month, I thought, let's go ahead and do a little behind the scenes of me shooting and talk a little bit more about set design. So both these cans are actually inspired by classic Christmas movies. Keep the Haze, You Filthy Animals inspired by, of course, Home Alone, and You'll Shoot Your Eye Out Kid is inspired by A Christmas Story. So luckily over the past couple years of me shooting product photography, I've been able to build a pretty great array of props. Most of these were sourced through the Goodwill, the Dollar Tree, Walmart, Hobby Lobby, and even Facebook Marketplace. Anytime I needed a new prop, I would literally just search around until I found what I needed. And also don't be afraid to shop your house. So for these photos, I don't want to take away too much from the actual featured product, but rather build a supportive set with props that help complement my product, which in this case is the beer. So the props I found for Keep the Haze, You Filthy Animal are this old phone, an iron, fingerless gloves, a VHS tape, some cassette tapes, and some white feathers. And for You'll Shoot Your Eye Out Kid, I found these glasses, a bar of soap, winter gloves, and a Santa hat. So even though I gathered all these props, doesn't mean I need to use them with my photo, but if I need them, I have them. So to start the shoot off, we're gonna be shooting on this rustic looking wood background with a black backdrop. My plan is with these photos, once they're all taken, is jump into Lightroom and Photoshop to edit them, and then I'm gonna replace that black background with a nice Christmassy one. So a lot of you guys have been mentioning to me that you guys wanna see more of my lighting setups, so I thought I would break this one down a little bit differently for you guys, so feel free to pause the screen or even take a screenshot so you can reference it later. This is my basic go-to setups I always like to start with when I'm lighting my sets. The first light, which is our key light, is set up at a 45-degree angle, which is facing towards our product. And then to help separate my product from the background, I like to add a small highlight to help outline the product. Then from there, I just need a little bit of fill light, so on the opposite side of my key light, I like to place a white foam board to help bounce some of that light back in. So now that you guys have my lighting setup breakdown, let's go ahead and jump into the actual set design and see how I'll be using these props that I've gathered. So everything I have here has to do with the can artwork inspiration. The phone from when he calls the cops to report the robbers, the iron from when Marv gets hit in the head with it, the cassette tapes reference his tape recorder, the VHS tape which will stand in as the movie he watches within the movie, which is actually where this line comes from.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
And last but not least, the gloves with the cut off fingers to mimic the robber's hands. So I definitely could have shopped around for more props, but I didn't want to oversaturate my image with a bunch of stuff that I didn't need. I just wanted to make sure that I had enough props to help tell my story and to build a supportive set design. So just like I mentioned before, I want to make sure that my set design doesn't take away too much from the actual product. So to start, I want to set these props up using leading lines just like I did in my Lucky Jack coffee video, and these phone cords will do the trick perfectly. The next thing I wanted to do was to set up these cassette tapes so they could tell what they were and so that they didn't fall flat. So layering them in the foreground helped them stand out and added a little bit of depth. I ended up liking it so much that I ended up doing the same exact thing with the VHS tape. From there, I pretty much just wanted to balance out my composition, so that's where I used the iron. And then I decided to add some Christmas lights just as an extra supporting element. And when it came to the gloves, I wanted to mimic one of the robber's hands, with one of the gloves actually pouring the beer, which wrapped up my set design for this photo. After capturing all the photos that I needed, it's pretty much all up to the edit to finish this one off. So basically my idea for this photo was to knock out that black background and to replace it with a more Christmassy one, and here's how I did that. So after editing all these photos in Lightroom and adding all my color adjustments, I went ahead and jumped into Photoshop where I used the pen tool to cut out all my foreground elements, and then I dropped in a nice Christmassy background, and I was left with an image like this. guys are wondering how the photo for You'll Shoot Your Eye Out Kid turned out, I took the same approach but with different props, and I'm pretty satisfied with how it turned out. The reason I won't be going in depth on that one is because to keep the haze photo took a lot more work in the set design, whereas the You'll Shoot Your Eye Out Kid was more focused on the editing process. And if you guys want to see a breakdown on the editing process of that video, I'd be happy to do so. Just let me know in the comments below, because it was actually a pretty fun photo to edit. So I think this is pretty much all I have for you guys on this one. I hope you guys were able to pull something beneficial out of this video. You know, I absolutely love set design, and I'm so glad I get to share my process with you guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and watching this video. And going into next year, I'm hoping to introduce new tutorials and even more content for you guys. So if you guys have anything that you're curious about or anything that you want to learn, please let me know in the comments below, or feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'll make sure to leave that information down below. And until then, I hope you guys have a great holiday, and I'll see you guys in the next one.